Hi friends, here's my recap of Governing Body Update number 8, starring Stephen Lett. This is for October 2021. So this is very interesting, friends. Remember that every single thing that this guy says is scripted. It's there for a reason, okay? So he begins by telling his viewers that he has many good things to share with them. Now, wouldn't it be nice if he truly did? Because we know what these updates are all about. So notice the first thing that he says and then think about the impact that this will have on the indoctrinated. Take a look.
Dear brothers, sisters, faithful children, and interested ones, it is a great pleasure to be with you for this update. We have many good things to share with you, including an update on our response to several major natural disasters. And at the end of this update, it will be a privilege to share with you our Reassuring Year Text for 2022. To begin, though, I have some important facts about COVID-19 vaccines to share with you, because we love you all very much.
All right, well, do they or don't they? Why is it that nearly every time Stephen Lett talks about how much love they have for the brothers, he shakes his head no? When I tell a family member that I love them, I don't say, I love you very much. That is absolutely ridiculous. So he says that he has many good things to share, but the first thing that he talks about is natural disasters. We're going to move on to other topics as he goes along, but what I've decided to do as a reminder to you as we go throughout this message, I decided to put a sound effect every time he talks about something that's contrary to an upbuilding topic. So I could have done something like a foghorn or a crowd bullying, or there were just so many, but I didn't want it to be obnoxious, so I just chose a golf swing. I wonder if Stephen Lett golfs. Probably not. After all, he is one of Christ's brothers. That's who you're going to be viewing here, friends. One of Christ's brothers, a mediator between the only true religion on earth and God. This is who Stephen Lett proclaims to be. Think about that, friends. Jesus Christ, who is seated at the right hand of the Father right now. Jesus is divine, but if Jesus is divine and Jesus has brothers, well, doesn't that make Stephen Lett his claim to be divine? Think about that, friends, as we move along. The next thing that Stephen Lett discusses here is the vaccination. I'm not sure if you're aware of the elder's letter that was leaked to the congregations. There's been many YouTubers talking about this. I've put a link down in the description box to JT and Lady C's video on this if you want to see it. But anyway, this elder's letter is all about the elders obeying and cooperating and obeying the secular authorities.
And because this is a life and death matter, we have decided to share what we know about this with you. Since June 1st, in the United States, 1,407 publishers have been hospitalized because of COVID-19 or its symptoms. Of these, less than 1% were fully vaccinated. Sadly, in that same time period in the United States, 486 of our brothers died from COVID-19. Of these, less than 1% were fully vaccinated. And our understanding is that the vaccinated individuals who died had serious underlying health problems. These statistics, more than 22,000 Bethelites and 44,000 special full-time servants in the field who have been vaccinated, we have received only 4 reports of severe adverse reactions that may be linked to the vaccination. We share this information with you so you can carefully consider it when making your personal decision regarding vaccination.
Really, you know that the indoctrinated, if they want to continue to be in good standing in the organization, they have no choice in the matter. Stephen Lett knows that. You and I know that. Fortunately, there are defectors there who are leaking these elders' letters out so that we could see what's going on within. But anyway, let's keep going.
We feel it would not be loving to withhold these facts from you. We know it can be difficult to make a wise decision when there are various opinions and conflicting reports that the world provides, perhaps making it hard to know what to believe. But the aforementioned statistics have been collected by our brothers, so we can trust these figures. We hope they will be useful to you. Of course, we also need to consider the direction provided by the superior authorities. In some lands, governments are enacting laws that all their citizens must be vaccinated. In other lands, it is strongly encouraged. How do we react to such direction? The study note on Romans 13:5 says this: a Christian submits to human governments when a command does not contradict God's laws.
Well, that would be interesting if this footnote coincided to what the verse says, but the verse says nothing about that. Just quickly looking at it, it says, "Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake." So what it's basically saying is to be in subjection because it's the right thing to do. But Stephen Lett and the governing body members, they make up this footnote to justify breaking the law in the event their laws go contrary to God's laws. What's that all about?
So this is another serious factor that we each should carefully and prayerfully consider in making our decision. As a result of having over 99% of the United States Bethel family fully vaccinated, we have been able to open up more activities within Bethel in accord with New York State regulations. This allowed the Bethel family to have the Gilead meal together, and then the Gilead graduation on September 11. No guests from outside Bethel were present for either occasion. Fully vaccinated Bethel family members in the United States have received permission to take personal time to visit family and friends.
So Stephen Lett also mentions that some Bethelites were able to travel if they got their vaccination. Now, could you imagine what would happen to a Bethelite if they chose to not get vaccinated? I just cannot imagine if one of those Bethelites decided they did not want the vaccination, but they were backed into a corner. You know the drill.
A magnitude 7.2 earthquake struck Haiti on Saturday, August 14. Sadly, 3 witnesses died. Our hearts go out to the families. The earthquake destroyed approximately 130 of the homes where our brothers were living and damaged another 250. On Monday, August 16, 2 days after the earthquake, tarps arrived for many of our brothers just ahead of the rains of Tropical Storm Grace. Since then, we have distributed over 3 tons of supplies and 28 tons of food to our brothers. Tents, tarps, blankets, mattresses, water filtration kits, solar-powered flashlights, and solar chargers have been distributed. Additionally, volunteers are working hard to evaluate and inspect the homes of our brothers. Although in difficult economic situations themselves, the local brothers in the capital of Port-au-Prince have generously donated tons of food. The United States experienced Hurricane Ida, which made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane on August 29. The branch office reports that as of September 20, 2,788 of our brothers who evacuated are not yet able to return to their homes. It is estimated to be several weeks before the power is restored in some areas. The storm damaged over 1,800 homes of our brothers and destroyed 28 more. In addition, 58 kingdom halls and 4 assembly halls were damaged. Under the direction of the circuit overseers, local brothers and sisters quickly began to stabilize hundreds of homes damaged by the storm. 2 disaster relief committees are providing tarps, materials, food, water, and generators when local supplies are exhausted. All of this activity is being carried out with proper safety standards and appropriate COVID-19 precautions. We are grateful for the hard work of all who are helping with the relief efforts, including all of you who have contributed financially. Thank you for your generosity and kindness.
Well, where's the money, Watchtower? Who needs you? The governing body did not provide the relief for those brothers down in Haiti. The local brothers generously provided for them. But what about all of the other needs? Looks like the wild beast of Revelation did much more than the Watchtower did. Not only did Watchtower do nothing for non-Jehovah's Witnesses, but Stephen Lett makes it very clear that the already impoverished local brothers donated the life-saving supplies. According to this article, the United Nations launched a $187.3 million appeal to provide shelter. There were 130,000 homes damaged or destroyed, 2,200 people killed, and over 12,000 injured. We know what Watchtower calls the UN. Now listen, the UN has its own issues. I'm not going to even talk about their own agendas and who and what they truly are, but Watchtower vilified the UN, and it looks like the UN did much more than Watchtower ever could. But Stephen Lett is celebrating what they did, what actually the local brothers did, not even the organization. What are they doing with all of their money?
When the pandemic began, we had no idea it would still be of concern 1.5 years later. People, including many of our brothers and sisters, do not have much materially. Some only have meager provisions, including a scarcity of food. It reminds us of faithful David of old. He was not being hounded by a deadly virus, but he was running and trying to hide from jealous King Saul, who was intent on killing David and those with him. Provisions were low. There was very little to eat, and David lost his home for a time, hiding out in caves in the wilderness. While things were very bleak materially, it was at this time that David composed the beautiful song recorded in Psalm 34. Was he distracted from his worship of Jehovah? Was he gloomy and dejected during that difficult time? How David was regarding his attitude. Psalm 34, verse 1, I will praise Jehovah at all times. What a beautiful attitude, despite the hardships he was facing at the time. So many of you, dear brothers and sisters, are struggling economically during this time of pandemic and uncertainty. But the governing body wanted me to share with you, especially verse 10, even strong young lions have been reduced to hunger. But those seeking Jehovah will lack nothing good. The last part of that verse is the year text for 2022.
All right, well, Stephen Lett wants the indoctrinated to believe that this 2022 yearly text is promising. But really, is it? Let's just take a look at it. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. So really, you're going to give a yearly text about starving lion cubs? That's the best you can do, Watchtower? How about down at the bottom, something better? But my God shall supply all your need according to his riches and glory. I think Philippians 4:19 is a much better annual text, don't you? Psalms 34 is talking about hunger, really? But that's what Watchtower does. So anyway, Stephen Lett is going to wrap this up. Let's see how many golf swings he gets.
Now, obviously, as we've been discussing, David was not referring to an abundance of physical sustenance in the valley of deep shadow. In these critical times, the coronavirus is not the worst trial to strike out at all mankind, and it won't be the last. We can expect things to deteriorate even further as these last days march on to their end. Economic hardship and other trials will come and go. But like the psalmist, we can agree that the 2022 year text will prove true. Dear brothers and sisters, we truly and deeply love you all very much.
Well, what did you think of that, friends? Do you think that Stephen Lett was telling the truth in the beginning when he said that he had many good things to cover? I didn't see it. I felt that this update was all about, well, it was all about disaster and death and dying and forced vaccinations. You know, friends, we need to pray for these governing body members. I was thinking this morning, wouldn't it be nice if we had another Ray Franz come out of the governing body? Wouldn't that be nice if one of these guys broke free and said, you know what, that's enough. I can't take the deception anymore. Because, you know, Stephen Lett and the governing body members, they will bow the knee to Christ. One day, they will. They will answer for everything that they did on the earth. That's scripture. All of the deception and the lying and the death that came out of their mouths, friends, we need to pray for these guys rather than vilifying them, which is what they deserve for what they've done to all of us. Wouldn't that be great if one of them came out and exposed it all? We don't know what the future holds for Watchtower. We could do a lot of speculating, but wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be great? Anyway, friends, that's it. Let me know what you thought about Stephen Lett's Governing Body Update number 8. Leave me a comment. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Have a great day.